Today we are going to talk about the past tense in French. It is called le passé composé. You use the past tense whenever you're talking about what you have done in the past. So you are recounting events that happened this morning, or things that happened yesterday, or something that happened to you when you were 5 years old. We will use le passé composé to recount those events. First, we're going to talk about how to form le passé composé. Le passé composé can be formed with both the verbs avoir and être. We are going to start by talking about le passé composé with avoir. Most verbs in French will use avoir in the passé composé. There will be a number of exceptions that use être, and we will learn about those soon. First of all, the past tense in French is called a compound tense, aka composé. It is composed of more than one part. Most verbs that we have learned in French so far, like the present tense, is just one word. Je danse, I dance. However, the past tense is compound. It is composed of more than one word. There are two parts to form the past tense. The first part is the helping verb. In this case, the helping verb is going to be avoir. So we need to know how to conjugate avoir in order to form le passé composé. The second part of the passé composé is called the past participle, le participe passé. To help you remember this, to help you think of the two parts, think about this form in English of a past verb. This isn't quite the simple past, but we'll pretend like it is for now. I have eaten. He has studied. If you think of that sort of scenario, it will help you remember both parts of le passé composé. Notice how we have a helping verb, in this case has, which is actually the verb avoir in French. And then this is a past participle, studied. Another example, I have eaten. We have the helping verb have, and then we have a past participle. It's easy to do in English. It is a little bit more complicated in French. Actually, it starts out very easy and it gets a little bit more complex as we go. Let's start looking at le passé composé in French. First of all, the helping verb for most actions is avoir, and so we need to know how to conjugate avoir in order to form le passé composé. J'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, on a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. This will be the first half of our verb in the passé composé. Let's go look at the second half, aka the past participle. Forming past participles is actually pretty easy, especially if you have an ER verb. For an ER verb, you will drop the ER ending from your infinitive, and instead you will replace that ER with an E accent aigu. So an E with an accent mark going up, it's pronounced E. So if I take the verb parler and I want to conjugate parler in the passé composé, I will drop the ER and instead I will have an E with an accent aigu, parler. If I take the verb voyager, I drop the ER, I add an E accent aigu, voyager. Yes, they do sound the same, voyager, voyager. I can take any ER verb and do this. If it's a regular ER verb, I drop the ER and I change it to A. Even if it's a verb I've never seen before, I would know how to conjugate it to form the past participle. So bavarder is bavarder. In English, these past participles would sound like spoken, traveled, chatted, if that helps you think. So like I have spoken, she has traveled, we have chatted. The past participle alone is not le passé composé. Remember, it is composed of two parts, so we still need the helping verb. Let's see what it looks like all put together. J'ai mangé de la pizza. J'ai mangé translates to I ate, aka it's the verb manger in the past. Instead of I am eating, we have I ate. If it helps you to think about what I said on the previous slide, I have eaten pizza. Because look, in French, it looks like I have eaten. That could help. But we can just translate it as I ate, I did eat, or I have eaten. Tu as joué au football. You played soccer. You have played soccer. So we have the PP, the past participle jouer, and then we also have our helping verb avoir. Elles ont étudié la chimie. They have studied chemistry, or they studied chemistry. So as you can see, le passé composé starts out as something that's really easy to form. You have the verb avoir, you have the past participle. For an ER verb, the past participle always ends in an E accent aigu, and it is pronounced et. J'ai mangé, tu as joué, elles ont étudié. Let's look at IR and RE verbs real quick, and then we're going to practice. For IR verbs, you drop the IR on the end of the infinitive and you change it to the letter I. Finir becomes fini. Choisir becomes choisi. Réussir becomes réussi. So IR verbs are also pretty simple to form and pronounce as far as past participles go. But past participles need to have the helping verb in front. For example, avoir. Elle a fini ses devoirs. She finished, or she has finished, her homework. Nous avons grossi. We gained weight. We have gained weight. Les chiens ont obéi. They have obeyed. The dogs obeyed. So for an IR verb, you have avoir in front as your helping verb. And then your past participle always ends in the letter I. It's the infinitive minus IR plus just an I. Fini, choisi, réussi. Elle a fini, nous avons grossi, les chiens ont obéi, for example. Finally, let's look at RE verbs. They are a little bit more complicated in that you drop the RE and you have a random letter instead. You have the letter U for your past participle. So the verb perdre, to lose, if I wanted to say lost, I would say perdu with a little U on the end. That sounds like U, perdu. The verb rendre becomes rendu. Entendre becomes entendu. So any regular RE verb, you will drop the RE from the end and add the letter U for the past participle. Tu as entendu ça? Did you hear that? You have heard. Vous avez perdu le match. You have lost. You all lost the game. Il a attendu le bus. He waited for the bus. He has waited. The important things to remember from today, you need the verb avoir plus a past participle to form le passé composé. Past participles for ER verbs end in an E with an accent aigu. IR verbs end in an I. RE verbs end in a U. Let's practice.